Hello everyone, Ranjitha here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with a simple home decor project. I am here with a tutorial to show you how you can make your own decoupage wall clock. I've used this technique of decoupage to beautify this clock. Before we move on further, kindly subscribe to my channel. So let's get started. Firstly, I am starting off by using a round MDF base. I've got it cut into size by a local carpenter. I am then priming my surface with white gesso. This will form a good base for me to do my decoupage later. So I usually prefer having a white or a lighter color base. I will first give a thin even coat all over the surface, and then I will let the first coat dry completely. Later, if needed, I will go ahead and give another second coat to give an even thick opaque base for my decoupage to be done on it. Now I have selected a tissue for using it for doing decoupage onto this space, which I will later turn into a wall clock. I am trimming down the tissue into size, and for cutting the tissue I am not doing it with the scissors, but I am running a wet brush along the line where I would like my tissue to tear, and then I am carefully ripping the tissue apart. Be careful while doing this and be very gentle with your hands, because if you are too harsh with it you might cut off excess design. So be gentle with it and carefully tear the tissue apart. And for tearing this tissue, like I said, I am using or running a wet brush along the line on which I would like my tissue to tear. I am now playing around and roughly deciding where I would like my tissue to be at the head. Once I am happy with the position of the tissue, I am going ahead and trimming my tissue even more. I am making sure I do not have any sharp edges around my tissue, because if you have sharp edges it gets very difficult to blend it into the background. So I am making sure all the edges are toned and not looking sharp. I am using a 3-ply tissue here, so I am peeling off the excess 2 layers, and I am just keeping the topmost layer to go ahead with my project. I am finalizing the position of my tissue. Once I am happy with it, I am going ahead and I am taking regular Mod Podge. I am just lifting a bit of the tissue and I am applying a very thin coat of Mod Podge here. You can use any decoupage glue that is available handy with you. All you have to do is apply an even layer of decoupage glue here. The trick here is you should not have too much of glue or you should not have too less of glue. Once I have applied a thin coat of glue all over the surface I wanted to apply the tissue, I'm going ahead with a dry brush and I'm carefully pushing all the bubbles to the outside. I hope you can understand by seeing the video here. First I am applying Mod Podge or any decoupage glue, and then I am placing the tissue over it and I am carefully evening out the entire tissue with a dry brush. The dry brush will help you in removing any bubbles if at all they are there, and it will give you a very good smooth finish, and you will not have any wrinkles on your tissue if you do it this way. Alternatively, if you do not have a dry brush, you can also use a sponge, or you can carefully even out the tissue with your fingers as well. But for me, the dry brush technique works out well and I do not have any wrinkles on my tissue if I do it in this way. I am carefully doing this part by part. Alternatively, some people also prefer doing the entire tissue at a time. But if you are a beginner and if you want a good finish, it is always preferable to adhere your tissue with decoupage glue part by part. As you can see here, there are absolutely no wrinkles and a very good finish without any wrinkles. Now I've mixed my base color in a shade closest to the shade of the tissue, and I'm painting it all around the remaining base of my project. Sometimes you get the shade ready-made, but in case if you do not have the exact shade in store-bought colors, then you'll have to play around a little bit with your paints and you have to get into a shade that is as closest possible to your tissue base. So here, as you can see, first I've painted all around the base, and then now I'm carefully blending the tissue with the background. This will take a little practice, but if you go ahead and play around with it, you will get a very good result. All you need to do is be patient and go layer by layer and not just dump the color all at once. So here I'm blending my tissue with the base carefully. I am leaving some shades of lighter color here and there. I will also add some layers of white here and there to give it a distressed look. So go ahead and do it the way you like it. If you want a solid color base, then you can go ahead and paint the entire base in a single color. Now I am taking a stencil. Like I said, I am sponging some white here and there to add a distressed look. I've chosen a background stencil with a pattern on it, and I'm going ahead with white paint over the stencil to add some effect onto the background. As you can see, I'm not playing around with too many colors on this project. All I'm using is a shade of green and white to finish off my project. I didn't want too many colors to be involved in this project. So I'm dabbing my white paint here and there to give it a distressed look, and I didn't want any edges or any paint to be sharp and very prominent, because I thought this will look like a snowy scene. Now I'm mixing a shade of brown. I'm taking a thin brush and I'm just finishing off the branches here and there, because my tissue looked very I trimmed my tissue very sharp, so I thought some of the elements were ending abruptly, so I'm just giving some more details here and there. I wanted the project to be very vintagey or distressed, so I'm adding shades of brown here and there, and if I feel my brown is very sharp and very bold, I'm adding shades of white. I'm almost done with my decoupage base. I'm almost done blending all the colors. So now I'm making points at 12, 3, 6 and 9 positions of the clock. I'm making perpendicular lines, taking the hook on the top as a guide. Now I have a stencil here. I'm taking some black paint and a thin stencil brush, and I'm dabbing it over the stencil to make the numbers of the clock. Alternatively, if you do not have a number stencil, you can also freehand and write down numbers or paint down numbers here, or you can also use chipboard elements or any other number stickers here, which you feel look aesthetic and blend with the background well. I did not have any in my stash, so I was doing it with the stencil here. Make sure you clean your stencil after finishing painting every number, because what happens is there will be some paint on the back of the stencil as well, and that might stain your project. So make sure you clean your stencil after painting every number. Also here in my example, I'm only painting numbers 12, 3, 6 and 9. Alternatively, you can go ahead and paint all the 12 numbers in your clock, or you can place lines in between representing the other numbers. You can design it as you like, but I didn't want to add too much to my clock because that would cover up the decoupage design or decoupage that I have done on the base. I've been getting a lot of requests to demonstrate a simple decoupage project, so here I am with a very simple project. I haven't used too many colors or too many supplies to finish this project. Just regular decoupage with simple blending with the background. Now I'm going ahead and I'm coating my base with a layer of Mod Podge, even layer of Mod Podge. Once my Mod Podge layer dries, I will go ahead and varnish it. After my varnish dries completely, I will go ahead and add the clock hands and clock mechanism to the base. You can see the finished close-up images here. I really liked how this simple wall decor turned out. I hope you liked it too, and I hope I was of some inspiration to you. In case if you get inspired, do share me your projects with me on my social media. Thank you so much for stopping by. Also, if you haven't done it yet, kindly subscribe to my channel and tap on the bell icon. Do follow me on my social media. The links are given in the description box below. Thank you.